Welcome to class number 1. Be in the vibration of love. Why is it important to open up your heart? When you open up your heart, it expands your ability to love. It gives you the courage to face your fears. It moves you through your anxiety. It heals old wounds that keep you creating from the past. By opening the diamond in your heart in every situation, you hold the space to allow a frequency of love to come through, to transform the situation and people around you. Most of us long for love, but it is hard to keep our heart open because of our wounds from the past. When we approach a situation in present time, the karma of the wounds get reinforced when we start to close our heart, when we respond to people in the same way that we've responded to in our past. For example, if you're looking to be in a relationship and you continue to attract people who after a while pull back, who stop communicating with you, or where you may feel that they judge you or see you as an object. We've all had these feelings of judgment, where we've been defined or labeled. The moment this occurs, we feel a shift in the relationship. The relationship feels separate or divided. Judgment stops the energy from moving. It stops the flow in relationship. It is the separation that creates our pain. When you meet someone else, or when they meet you, usually they view you from their past experiences, their past wounds, or the wounds they may not know that they have, but are carried down from the genetic line. When you carry your past, you continue to create with it. What is one wound you have from the past that separates you from opening up to the wisdom of your heart and experiencing that love? To be in that vibration of love and to experience it, you must first understand how love was set up for you in your family dynamic. How were you loved? What was love like with your mother? Did she only love certain aspects of you, or when you behaved? Was there a perfect image that you had to try and match in order to get her attention? What happened when you misbehaved? What did she do when you ran an energy she didn't like? Did she punish you? Did she resist you? Was there something in you she could not accept? How were you programmed to love? Was there duality in that? Was there something wrong with you that you continue to try and resolve? how did she respond to your backspace pictures? Could she just accept and love you unconditionally, without punishing you or trying to change you? In turn, how do you respond to your backspace pictures? What do you do? Do you love yourself when you don't like something within yourself? Do you work on yourself harder? Do you become a perfectionist? An example of what I'm talking about in a family dynamic is I have a client, and this client came to me because her mother never connected with her, and she never knew why. She came to understand what was wrong with her. Why was her energy so off? This dynamic she has with her mother continues to play out in her relationships because people always leave her and say there's something wrong with her. Her mother is Native American, and her father's line came from the ancestry that massacred her Native American mother's line. The daughter looks like the father's line, and she feels a certain affinity and connection with her father. When I looked at the energy, I could tell right away that her mother's genetic line had never healed from the wounds of the massacre that were connected to the father's lines. They even had certain artifacts from this time period, a tomahawk and a revolver that were used in that massacre. In present time, the mother presents herself as spiritual, eats right, does yoga, does meditation, energy work. But ever since the daughter was young, the mother's heart closed down to the daughter. She said the daughter had bad energy. She rejected her daughter. When her daughter is around, she feels extremely uncomfortable. She would even use a pendulum above the daughter's head, and every time it would move counterclockwise. The mother said this meant she had bad energy. The father wouldn't support the daughter in this interaction of how the mother treated her because he didn't know what to do with it and could not go against his wife. Once my client was out of the house and wanted to come home for the holidays, the mother would say, "I need to have more time in order to work your energy or clear your space so your energy doesn't overtake everyone in the home." When I looked at the mother's backspace, the mother had projected her own wounds and the wounds of her genetic line into the daughter. The mother unconsciously is living out that massacre of that genetic line. She can't blame her husband because she's with him, but when she looks at the daughter, those wounds continue to come up in present time and light the mother up. And this is the energy the mother is trying to deal with. Her daughter is just reflecting that energy. Since the daughter is very sensitive, extremely intuitive, and a gentle spirit, of course she will hold those pictures up so the mother can clear the wounds. We often wonder why we don't have love in our life, just like my client. The first step of experiencing love is to open up to the wisdom of the heart and look at the genetic line as well as your family dynamic. How were you taught to love? It's important to know how you were taught to love. Then you can confront the wounds. Then you can look at this space from the whole as opposed to a distortion or a lie that was given to you in that space, and then that you continue to play out. A part of experiencing love is to be able to see yourself accurately, to see yourself as whole, to love not only your strengths and what is good in you, but to love your weaknesses, your fears and anxiety without rejecting them or without projecting them into someone else and making them wrong or saying that their energy is off. The moment you say someone else's energy is off, you give them the power over you. Remember, the people around you are reflecting a certain energy about you. Make it about you so you have the power to change it. Notice how your heart may feel when you're looking at a backspace picture. Just say hello to a backspace picture or a wound in your space. And without even trying to change it, let it be okay that it's there. Run a violet loop to that wound and then move it back to the heart. Start to run the energy counterclockwise so you can unwind the wound, so you can clear it within your space and start to clear it within the genetic line. When you hit the backspace picture, the energy, of course, starts to move counterclockwise. This only indicates that there's energy stuck, that there's a wound. The lie is thinking that there's something wrong with you, that this picture or wound may even be yours. It may not be yours, but you carry it. But it gives you the opportunity to open your heart and run the energy of love and accept this wound. All you must do is hold the space. Allow the energy of love to run through your heart. Set the diamond of your heart at 528 hertz. This is the frequency of love. Notice your grounding. Say hello to your grounding in situations. It is important to say hello to your grounding because if you're not grounded, that is the time that the genetic line will play out in the people around you. To help open your heart, imagine that diamond in the center of it. When you feel a wound in your space or even feel a wound in your heart, use the symbol of the integrated loop to keep the heart open, to keep the energy moving. When you see or you're involved in a family dynamic or a situation that's being played out in a relationship or with friends or loved ones around you, and you feel this energy of separation or divide, it is important that you don't go into agreement to this energy. You may not understand the situation, and it may be confusing, like it was even for the father of my client, because he didn't know how to handle the situation. When there's a distortion, you must get out of the distortion and look at it from the whole. You must look at it from love and trust that the energy will do the work. When you look at a situation for love and from love, this gives you the power not to stay in that situation. Sometimes you have to dive into those backspace pictures and suffer and be in pain. When you're unwilling to let go of a backspace picture, the quickest way to move through it is move in it. When you've experienced so much pain in your space, then you can finally let go sometimes. If you're holding onto a hot plate and you're getting burned, you just must drop the plate. Why is it that we hold on to these backspace pictures when we get burned time and time again, when our hearts are aching, when we feel pain? The pain means you're in a distortion, and you must see it from the whole and run love to it and accept it and bring it back into relationship. The backspace is so helpful because it brings you to the depth and into deep darkness. And sometimes we all must be brought to our knees in order to just accept and receive the light and grace of being connected and grounded. The way to receive grace is through the heart of just opening and trusting that love can change every situation. And when you run love in the diamond of your heart and through the loops, that is the protection that you need in order to be safe and secure and feel supported. The tools that I want you to be working is to identify a wound in your space, to run the vibration of love to the wound and back to the heart. You can imagine this by running a counterclockwise loop of violet. Match the frequency of 528 Hertz. Move the symbol into the loop, so the symbol allows that love to transform the wound of you and in the genetic line. Thank you for joining, and have a great week.